guys, happy Friday. It's Joe. It's time for a Pikkit with Joe. It is Friday, March 10th. Only 2 games on the board today. We got really heavy favorites that are both desperate for the win today. So it's really going to be interesting to see how these 2 games play out. Let's break down these 2 games. I don't think we'll build a parlay today, you guys. Not loving both of the favorites. I'm worried about Calgary tonight. Oh, let's break these 2 down. I want to thank you guys for being here with me on this Friday. Now, the first game we're looking at is the Chicago Blackhawks taking on the Florida Panthers. 7 o'clock Eastern for this one. I just want to check these updated lines. We have Florida Panthers minus 490 here on the money line. Chicago Blackhawks plus 365. We've got a total of 6.5. Now it is juiced to that under 6.5, coming in at minus 118. I think this is because the books believe that the Chicago Blackhawks just are not going to be able to find the back of the net. Bobrovsky expected here for the Florida Panthers. Now, when we look at the Chicago Blackhawks team, they love to play upset. We saw what they were able to do over the Ottawa Senators just last week. Now, they are off a loss versus the Red Wings. That was a 4-3 loss. They were able to put up some goals in that one. This is their first leg of a back-to-back, and it is for the Florida Panthers here as well. Chicago tomorrow has the Lightning on deck. Now, the Chicago Blackhawks aren't looking ahead to the Lightning. They just want to get every win that they can. This team sitting 8th in the Central. There is no playoff outlook for this team. They just love to play that upset role. So looking at here, we got to look at puck line. We got to look at extended puck line. If you like the Chicago Blackhawks on the regular puck line, laying 1.5 or adding 1.5, that is coming in at plus 150. Actually, there is no way that odd is right. Hang on. Yeah, plus 1.5 is plus 150. I'm getting plus 2.5 at minus 215 on the extended line. When you look at the Florida Panthers, again, I said Bobrovsky expected here. They won their last 2 games. They got the big win over Vegas, really stepping up defensively, winning that one 2-1. They have the Winnipeg Jets on deck tomorrow, and this is kind of a little bit of worry here. They need this win desperately tonight. I would like to see them come out strong in both games. They need the win over Winnipeg, but remember, Winnipeg is digging hard and deep as well. They've got to put all their effort into this game tonight. I'm really cautious with them having a slight look ahead. They're sitting 5th in the Atlantic tonight, or as of today. Taking on the puck line, laying the 2.5 is coming in at minus 105. Taking them on the puck line, laying just a 1.5 is minus 182. So if you want value, you got to extend that puck line. Expect them to win this one by 3 goals. Now, when you look at their team total, the team total's high at 4.5. What I'm going to have to do in this one is I do lean on the Chicago Blackhawks to do enough to keep this one tight. If you have to bet aside, I'd take them on the extended puck line at plus 2.5 at minus 115. I think you have a value there. We know the Chicago Blackhawks love to get these games under their belt where they are upsetting teams. They did win this matchup back in October. It was a 4-2 win for them. Do I trust them enough to bet this? Not really, but if you had to, that's where I think it would be your best value. I'm going to look at the Florida Panthers to dig deep in that first period. The first period puck line laying 0.5, we're getting that at minus 118. So there is a value there. I'm also going to look at Matthew Tkachuk for his points over 1.5. For the Florida Panthers to do well, it really does mean that Matthew Tkachuk is going to have a big day here versus the Chicago Blackhawks. Now, when we look at his last 3 games versus the Blackhawks, he got a point in the last one, but the 2 prior, he did get 2 points in both of those. So taking him over 1.5 points tonight for that big game is coming in at minus 110. And I do think Matthew Tkachuk comes in and plays strong in this one. Now, I'm a little worried with this total because if the Blackhawks decide to pour it on in this game to find the back up Bobrovsky's net, we will see this one go over because we know the Florida Panthers can score and can score at will. They're averaging 36.7 shots on goal, which is first overall in the league. So that's where I'm looking at with this game, you guys. It's going to be one of those games. Matt, happy Friday. The Panthers, first period. Absolutely, Benji. That's exactly what I think is the best value in this one. Rick, shout out. Thank you for being here. You cashed on McDavid. Congratulations. What a win by the Edmonton Oilers last night over the Boston Bruins. Now, going into last night, they had won 5 of the last 6 meetings in Boston. They've now won 6 of the last 7 meetings in Boston. Edmonton, definitely a team to look out for right now, especially playing there. Big shout out to you guys. Over 2 in the first is -150. And I don't mind that over 2 goals. We know the Florida Panthers, when they open up, they do come out really strong in that first period for sure. Panthers are 1-4 in their last 5 versus the Central. I know, and that is my worry. With our 2 favorites today, one of these favorites I could see going down. So I don't recommend anyone taking the favorites there on the money line and parlaying them together. Should both of these favorites win? Are they the better teams? Absolutely. But we see this happen in the NHL. So Ottawa was a flat game. It was definitely a weird one. When the Ottawa Senators play the Chicago Blackhawks, you guys have to look at the trends. It is huge in hockey. The Blackhawks dominate the matchup between them and the Ottawa Senators. It's really weird how these matchups do work, but these trends really do hold true. I would say 80% of the time when a team really does struggle versus that team. So always check how the team does versus the other ones. It's really crazy. Happy Friday to you, Kev, as well. It is a good stay away week, like you said. 15 games tomorrow. Pocket with Joe is going to be crowded tomorrow. We'll get an early and a late show. We'll kind of break it up like that so I can get out an early show for you guys. I should start breaking down these games today. Now that I finished going over the college slate for the rest of today. So I'll get to it. Man, we got a busy weekend ahead of us. That is for sure. Bruins kept McDavid on a leash last night. They absolutely did. They were able to contain him in a lot of spots. So it was a great game. And you cashed the Senators, Blues 1.5, and the Kings on the money line. 3-teamer for 100. I am so happy for you. I'm so excited to see you get that nice win. The Kings, I tell you, that beautiful plus money with them last night. It just made my heart feel good last night with that win, and Vegas as well. So we got some good plus money, and definitely an opportunity to make some money tonight, just not as much as we saw yesterday. So big shout out to you and the Sharks. Yeah, those stupid Sharks, I tell you. But that was another one. When we looked at that Sharks game, just give me 1 second here. The Sharks in St. Louis. And this is what I mean, you guys. You look at these teams, and the Blues have sold off every single person. The Sharks, 5-16 in the last 21 meetings versus the St. Louis Blues. They also are 2-7 in their last 9 meetings in St. Louis. So for them coming out in that game yesterday, it's just crazy to see what we saw happen. I don't know, you guys. Follow those trends for sure. The St. Louis Blues won that game 4-2. I couldn't remember the final score, if it was 3-2 or 4-2. But yeah, the Sharks just cannot play in St. Louis, even when the St. Louis team really has no one at all. So congratulations for the Sens plus 1.5 and the Kings on the money line. Let's get back to today's games, you guys. So we went over the first game. Like I said, I am very cautious of taking the Florida Panthers for a big win tonight. We're having to lay a lot with them there. If I had to take a side, it would be the Chicago Blackhawks plus the 2.5. Buy up the extended line. That's at -115. I do think the Florida Panthers cover the puck line in that first period. I do think we could see a 3-1 though first period. So I love that over 1.5 that was thrown out there. But I do think the Panthers take that first period. I also think Matthew Tkachuk comes out with a solid night. The over 1.5 points is at -110. Now, looking at the next matchup, the Anaheim Ducks taking on my Calgary Flames. We know Calgary kind of broke that monkey on their back, getting those 2 wins. They had really big wins there as well. They were able to get the shootout win versus the Minnesota Wild in that 1-0 game. It was so intense, so stressful. Now, they do have the Ottawa Senators on deck on Sunday, and I tell you, Ottawa is going to be a hard team for Calgary to take on. But the Anaheim Ducks won't be easy for this team either. We know Calgary has had their struggles. They are not winning the games that look like they should win these games. John Gibson expecting goal for the Anaheim Ducks tonight, and Calgary expected to start Jacob Markstrom. Now, we have seen a better performance out of Jacob Markstrom since the birth of his child, and I'm going to keep reminding you guys of that because I've given Jacob Markstrom a lot of slack this season for his questionable decisions in that net. But I do think the weight is off his shoulder. And a lot of people say, more stress now that he's had his baby. I don't know. Pregnancies are super stressful. So I think he's relaxed and he's now playing for his small family. So let's go with that. His save shots on goal tonight is coming in at 21.5. And this is a really hard number to bet on because Calgary is coming in really limiting their opponent's ability to get these shots. They're holding opponents to 27.4. The Anaheim Ducks are only putting up 28.9 on average. So I could see them only putting up 22, 23 shots on goal in this game. Now, if the Ducks want a fighting chance, they could get a couple of these goals in. I'm not going to touch it. Now, looking at John Gibson's number, this number is so high. John Gibson for the Anaheim Ducks, he's got a 3.89 goals against average. His save shots on goal tonight is 35.5. Man, if Calgary doesn't come out absolutely firing, we're not going to get over that number. Calgary averaging that 35.4. The Anaheim Ducks allowing 39.2, 32nd in the league, worst in the league. I just have to really hope Calgary puts 40 shots on John Gibson tonight, and then he goes over 35.5 save shots because I think Calgary is right around that 4-goal game in this one. So I'm going to take John Gibson. I'm going to trust that Calgary is going to fire away and that John Gibson is going to do enough to save over 35.5. It is asking so much, but the Ducks defense does not protect their goalie, and Calgary fires at will. They're the second highest firing team in the league on these shots on goal. So give me John Gibson, fingers crossed, over 35.5 save shots on goal. Now, looking at this line, you guys, we have a battle of the Pacific here. the Anaheim Ducks off an overtime loss to the Vancouver Canucks, where they really did dig deep. It was a 3-2 loss. This is their last game of a road trip. They have the Predators at home on a Sunday. This isn't going to be a look-ahead spot. Now, Calgary has won the last 4 matchups, but they are coming home off 2 really hard opponents that they were able to get the win. Do I have faith in Calgary to cover the puck line here? Laying 1.5 is -152, so there's no value. We take it up to 2.5 for Calgary. It is at +125. I trust Calgary to win by 3. They should. They absolutely should. But this is a Calgary team who has been really letting us down. Look at that puck line at home, you guys. It's absolutely disgusting what they've done on the puck line at home. 9-22, and yes, some of these times they have been favorites, but that's what I mean. Even as favorites, they're not blowing anyone out of the water. Overall puck line record of 28-37. So this is a team, when it wins by 1 goal. The Ducks, if you take them +1.5, it's +125. The last time these teams played was back in December. It was a 3-2 win for the Calgary Flames. Now, Calgary is desperate to get this win. Could we see them come out strong right out of the gate? Yes, absolutely. But I do think the Ducks will come out strong out of the gate off that overtime loss. They're going to be frustrated. They're going to want to upset Calgary as well. The Ducks could be quacking tonight, and I hate to say it, this could be just one of those games where we're pulling our hair out going, how the hell did Calgary just win those 2 and they lost this one? Of the 2 favorites tonight, Calgary, I have the least faith in. I hate saying it. You guys know they are my team. I cannot actually go watch them tonight, and I was really hoping to. The weather's just so bad. The roads are terrible here, but if I could make it there, I definitely would. Taking the Ducks plus the 2.5 tonight is -145. Now, it is juicy, but I do think this is a solid bet to take the Ducks plus the 2.5 at -145. I think they will be able to keep this within 2 goals of the Calgary Flames. I could see this being a 4-2 style game, and then we have covered that puck line there. I could also see it being flipped. I could see the Ducks coming out and steamrolling over a Calgary team that comes in knowing they've got to win, but confident after winning their last 2 road games. Now, Calgary has lost their last 4 at home. They're 2-5 in their last 7 overall. Coming in off of overtime, they've lost their last 7 games following an overtime game. It's not a good situation, but versus teams with winning records below 400, they are 13-6 in their last 19. Now the Ducks are 0-5 in their last 5 versus the Pacific. So where am I going to go? I think I got to take the Ducks plus the 2.5 at -145. And then the first period over 1.5 at -136. I do think we see the goals come in here. And then I'm going to rely on John Gibson to go over his save shots on goal tonight. I need a solid night out of him. His save shots on goal, 35.5. Like I said, huge number here. But we do know the Ducks allow these shots to come in, and Calgary is firing. So that is where I'm going, you guys. Calgary 0-4 on 2 days rest as well. It really sucks. I would take the Ducks plus the 2.5. I am a little worried about the 1.5 because if Calgary does what they should do, Calgary needs to get back on track. If they want a wild card spot, they have to win this one. They have to win on Sunday versus the Senators. They just have to keep winning. It's a lot to ask. Calgary's best chance of winning between tonight's game and the Senators game is tonight's game. I don't know if my mom is going to the game. I have not asked her. I did not want to weigh that into the handicapping here. So, yeah, Calgary has won the last 4 meetings between these two. So it should be an interesting one. And I do think we see that overcome in even if John Gibson saves that many. I do think it's an over 1. So give me the over 6.5. I am with you too. 9-22 is amazing for sure. You're going to give it a shot with OT. Yeah, this is one. And that's what I mean with Calgary. They are having these struggles where we could see this one go to overtime. The games last night that I thought would go to overtime, they were coming down to the very wire. We looked like we were going to go to overtime with them. They both didn't cash. Of the 2 games tonight, I don't think the Florida Panthers and Chicago Blackhawks goes to overtime, but I'm with you, Rick. I do think we could see Calgary and the Ducks go to overtime. This Ducks team, I tell you, they have been quacking. They love to play upset, that's for sure. If I had to go with an exact score, man, that is hard. 3-3 go into overtime, 4-3 style game here as Calgary just and see the dogs are barking. Dogs are barking, you guys. This could be one where the Ducks totally get the win. And my dog is locked out of my studio now. Someone knocked at the door, you guys. Yeah, I think if you take both of the dogs on the extended puck line, both of the dogs plus 2.5, I do have a little bit of concern about Chicago. We saw them absolutely sweep the Senators. We saw them play a hard overtime game versus the Red Wings. Which Chicago Blackhawks team are we going to see? I think one that tries to put in a little bit of competition, but the Florida Panthers, such a strong team, you guys. So that's where I'm going. Okay, so to recap, my top bets for these 2 games, I lean on the Chicago Blackhawks plus the 2.5 at -115. I'm a little worried about this one because Florida is Florida. This team can be absolutely phenomenal when they turn it on right, but they do have a game tomorrow that is going to be harder. So how much do they really want to blow Chicago out of the water? I do think the Florida Panthers get the first period. Laying a 0.5 point on that puck line is -118, half a goal on the puck line. I also think Matthew Tkachuk comes out and has a strong day. I'm going to take him over 1.5 points. That's coming in at -110. And then for Calgary and the Ducks, you guys, the Ducks plus 2.5 at -145. I do think this is a 4-3 style game as Calgary just screws things up, finds a way to screw them up. Hopefully they get the win. Fingers crossed. I do like the first period over 1.5. I do think we see a couple goals, but I do think John Gibson of the Anaheim Ducks goes over 35.5 save shots on goal. I know it's a huge number, but it's a huge number because the Ducks defense gives him no support, and Calgary will be firing like crazy in this one. So you guys, that's what I'm doing today. I wish you guys all the very best in all of your bets. What if both dogs win? Well, if both dogs win tonight, would anyone be shocked? The Florida Panthers and the Calgary Flames, seriously. They let us down in the games that they are supposed to win. What if we do a money line parlay, just to sprinkle, couple bucks on both of these dogs to win? It could happen. We've seen weirder things happen in hockey. That is for sure. You guys have a good one. I will be back tomorrow. Remember, there is a billion games on the board tomorrow. I don't know what time I'm going live, so please, please, please hit that notification bell so that you know when I go live. I will be going live before the first set of games kick off. Let's just see what time games kick off tomorrow morning. I tell you, with March Madness, there's so much to get done. So we do kick off at 1 o'clock Eastern. That's 11 o'clock my time. So let's plan for noon Eastern. We will at least get out the majority of the games before the 7 o'clock. Actually, we should be able to get all the games done tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern. I will see you guys, but hit that subscribe button and make sure you join me. Let's make some freaking money tonight, you guys. Matthew Tkachuk over 1.5 points. I think that is my favorite safest bet of the night. I think Matthew Tkachuk comes out flying. Don't forget to look at Tyler Toffoli as well. That goal that he was able to get in that game with like seconds left, Tyler Toffoli has been lighting up the net for the Calgary Flames. I have the most faith in him. So we do need to do a Cup of Joe. That is for sure. We'll do a Cup of Joe NHL edition tomorrow. Join me this weekend over on Sports Grid. I will be there Sunday from 12 to 4 Eastern on Sunday. So Pocket Joe is going to be early on Sunday, you guys. I'll be live with Joe Ranieri for those 4 hours. It's going to be fun. You guys have a good one. Keep smiling. Let's make some freaking money. I could talk all day with you guys, but I really do need to run. I got to get back to watching college basketball. I'm not going to lie. Rutgers covered the spread, and I tell you, that last 21 seconds, them missing those free throws, they finally sunk a 2-pointer right before the buzzer went off, covering that spread. I thought I was going to push on the number of 7. It has been a stressful day already. You guys, big shout out to each and every one of you. We will see you tomorrow. I'll talk to you later. Bye, guys.